All right, what's up? Going to be talking about a huge gold trap in the early to mid game today, which is going to be rock summons, especially when you max out all the levels on them to level 4. It's going to cost around 1.6 million gold. That's going to be around the gold it costs to upgrade 2 cheap monsters. You can upgrade something like Clyde and Flamey. They'll farm stuff way quicker, and you'll never actually see use from these rocks in most of the early to mid game, right? Because, you know, you can deal with rock breakers very easily in the early game. You can deal with, you know, King Normal rock breakers, Rage Fist rock breakers, even JR hard rock breakers without upgrading your rocks at all, really. It's a pretty pointless upgrade, and you're way better off going with something like a Slime King to beat JR hard, right? Going with something like a Kevin to beat JR normal, instead of spending the 1.6 million gold on, you know, getting an upgrade that, you know, as you see here, it's putting in no work at all. I can just upgrade monsters and enemies will never reach the rock anyways. You know, why would you spend your gold into this mechanic that, you know, is like a failsafe, right? Where you can just upgrade monsters who will actually be able to DPS waves down, who will actually be able to get you through waves, rather than something that that won't see much use at all, especially for farming. You know, if you want efficient farming, you shouldn't have to deal with rock breakers in the first place. You shouldn't have to deal with the issue of rocks getting destroyed by, you know, enemies with spells that don't just automatically destroy or remove them, like Master Summoner spell, right? And so I guess the argument can be made that, like, this upgrade, right, is decently cheap, right? 1.6 million, you know, that's like less than a night of auto clicker farming on JR. But, you know, I think even then, why would you really get this other than for the purpose of it looking cool, right? The only time where this sees actual use is if you're struggling on nightmare levels, right? If you're struggling on nightmare levels, or if you're dealing with elemental challenges where you have to use every possible method to prevent you from losing the wave, just because those challenges are so ridiculously difficult in the later waves, right? But if you are in the early to mid game, there's no point to upgrade these rocks, even if you do have the gold to, you know, just put it into your monsters so you can get to evil summoner faster, so you can farm, you can get to a point where all your monsters are gold maxed, right? I made the mistake of buying them with some, you know, gold that I got from a Knights of auto clicker farming, but it really has not helped me at all in any situation. It's helped me a little in an elemental challenge, but I shouldn't have been attempting that anyways, because it was not time efficient at all. It wasn't yeah, it wasn't worth the time I put into it. It wasn't worth the I guess even like the gems to play it, rather than farming JR. So I think that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. Just rocks really won't be good. You know, even the first 2 or 3 levels, 100k gold for the first level, really no point in buying it, compared to just upgrading a monster and then getting that stronger overall setup, right? Rocks aren't going to be your main source of defense. There's a reason why this game has such a large focus on units and not shop upgrades, not stuff like the spells here, not stuff like, you know, monster attack boost. All of these are upgrades that can help, but in the end, what's most important is the monsters themselves. And when you dump gold into rocks, it's not helping monsters. And the gold can be much better used for monsters that will actually be able to farm faster and to get enemies to a point where they can't even touch the rock. So that's going to be it for this video. Like, subscribe, and see ya.